I just finished reading a book that I thought I was really gonna like and ended up completely hating and wanting to like scream at it as soon as I finished it because the twist at the end was so stupid and I just absolutely despised it. So I thought it might be a good idea to make a video about some books that I just really didn't like. Now, of course, these are just my opinions. You may have read these books and really enjoyed them, and some of these, in fact, I'm pretty sure all of them, do have a lot of really good reviews on Goodreads. It's really just my personal feelings of hatred towards these books, so you may or may not agree. And if they're your favorite books, I'm sorry. I just didn't like them. So the first book is Dangerous Lies by Becca Fitzpatrick, and it's about this girl who is a witness in a murder trial and has to like join the witness protection program or something. And that concept really interests me. I find it really cool. I have yet, however, to find a book about witness protection that actually lives up to how cool the concept is. And this book was unbelievably stupid because the girl in it, Stella, was so stupid and whiny and annoying, and it just ruined the entire book for me. And the way she, like, the killers ended up finding her at the end was just stupid, and I wanted, in the sense that she was being stupid and that's how they found her, and I just wanted to scream at her the entire book. And it says Becca Fitzpatrick is a New York Times best-selling author, and I'm sure her other books are much better, and maybe I should try one of them, but this one I just hated. I hated the character. I thought she was stupid, and yeah, I wasn't a fan. Next is Panic by Lauren Oliver. Now, I actually like Lauren Oliver. I think she's a good writer, but this book was the biggest waste of time ever. So it's basically about this town, and there's this game called Panic, which is what all the high school seniors compete in when they're graduating, and they all put money in, and the prize is like $20,000 or something. And the like tasks that they have to do are really, really intense, and like you could die. And so it's meant to be really suspenseful and kind of like a thriller type thing. And in fact, the like little blurb on it even says a thrill a minute. And I hated it. I didn't care about any of the characters. Like, none of them were interesting to me. I also thought the game was stupid. Like, none of the tasks were interesting or cool. I didn't feel a sense of like anticipation or suspense or thrill at any point in this book. And then, like I said, I didn't care about a single character in it. Like, I don't even remember any of their names because they were all just pointless, and they didn't, like, they could have been anybody. I almost feel slightly bad for including this because I know so many people like this, but it's the Selection series. And now let me preface this by saying I really liked this book series when I didn't like it. I liked the first one when I read it to begin with, and there was like a 3-4 year gap between reading the first one and reading the second two, and I felt like the first book sets up what could be such an amazing trilogy, and obviously the covers are totally gorgeous, which is why I picked it up in the first place, and then the second two books come in and ruin it because there's no world building in this series. Like, everything that you find out about the world that they live in the third one is just, it's stupid and it doesn't make any sense. And I feel like this series is such a perfect example of a trilogy, and it's not even a trilogy anymore because there's like the other two, but of a series that could have been so good. Like, it could have been an A+, 5 out of 5 stars, and just was mediocre and lackluster. Having said that, the first book is still fun to read. So, like, I would recommend reading the first one and then just, like, I don't know, reading the Wikipedia plot synopsis for the second two, because maybe read the second one, like, but, like, definitely the third one is a complete waste of time because it's just pointless. I was so angry with the lack of fleshing out of the world that they live in, because it's sort of meant to be slightly dystopian, and I wanted to know about their world, and we learned nothing. And the only things we did learn, we learned through the girls going to, like, a history class in the palace, which I felt like was kind of the worst way possible to give information to readers. Like, surely there is a better way to do that. I don't know. I was just frustrated and disappointed by this series. The final book that I have today is the book that I just read, which is what prompted me to even make this video, and it is Shadowlands by Kate Bryan. And I actually quite like Kate Bryant. I've read a lot of her books. I loved the Private series until it got weird at the very end when they all, like, spoiler alert, turned into witches and whatnot. Before that, it was a phenomenal book series, and then she had to ruin it at the end. And she basically did the same thing with this book. So this is another witness protection type thing. And first of all, the cover is gorgeous. And then the back, like, synopsis is about this girl who nearly gets killed by her high school math teacher, and it turns out that he is a serial killer and he's killed 14 girls already, and she escapes him, and she's like the lucky 15th one, and the FBI shows up at her house. And firstly, the FBI's involvement in this book is the most unrealistic thing ever. They send the family into witness protection by loading them in a car, programming a GPS location for their new home, and then just, like, letting them drive there alone, and they have no protection whatsoever. Like, a 12-year-old could probably write a more realistic, like, example of the FBI putting someone into witness protection. It was just, oh, it irritated me so much. And then, as you think that this book is going to be a really awesome, like, contemporary thriller about this girl escaping the serial killer and all of that, because she escaped and he's still coming after her, and there's, like, a bit of a dual perspective, then it turns into this stupid supernatural shit that just, oh, I'm so annoyed at this book because I've had this on my shelf for 3 years, never got around to reading it, and then started it the other day, and I thought it was going to be so good because I've always wanted to read just a really good book about witness protection, and then it turned into the biggest waste of time ever. There's 2 more books, none of which I will be reading because I don't want to read, like, YA supernatural when I thought it was going to be a really hard-hitting YA contemporary about escaping a serial killer and the witness protection program and all of that. And then it just wasn't. So if anybody knows any good YA books about being in witness protection, because as you noticed, 2 of the books on this video were about, like, shitty books about witness protection. So if you know of any good representations of being in witness protection, let me know because I want to read them, because this and Dangerous Lies just didn't do it for me. There you have it. Those are, like, what, 6 books that I have just really disliked recently and been really, really disappointed with and made me really upset. I like far more books than I end up disliking, but I just finished Shadowlands and I was so upset and so annoyed and just wanted to scream at the book and figured there were a few more books that I've read that I really didn't like, and it might be worth making a video about them. So once I come up with, like, another 5 or 6 books, which will probably take me, like, a year or so, I'll make another, like, update of more books that I don't like, because you can't like everything that you read. And hopefully I don't read another book in the near future, at least, that makes me as angry as Shadowlands just did. But seriously, it's a fucking awful book, and it started out and it was supposed to be so good, and I'm not sure when I'm gonna get over being so mad about it.